Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb continues to hold out. Owner and GM Jerry Jones said Tuesday the sides are having promising talks regarding a contract extension. Well, Jerry is back with another update for the media.
Does your level of concern rise the further camp goes along and CeeDee isn't part of it, as with all this good work being done out here?
No, and I don't mean that to be insensitive to our fans or to CeeDee, but we're in good shape there, and we are having promising talks. Say, well, why don't you keep talking? Won't you do something? Again, as in anything, it takes both of you there at the same time.
Not to put words in your mouth, but you're optimistic something will be done?
Well, I think I am, and when I say that, doesn't sound too promising. The facts are that I believe we'll come together. I don't want to speak for him. That's what I'm trying not to do. But we wouldn't have offered him what we've offered him if he didn't want him to be here.
It's promising. I think I am. I mean, there's a lot happening right there. The boys open up the season against the Cleveland Browns. That's on September 8th. That lineup's incredible, by the way. Stephen A., are you buying Dallas and CeeDee are close to a deal?
No, I'm not. I'm not buying that at all. It seems that way. I can understand why those would buy it, because when you look at this market value right now, they're talking about $136.4 million, an average of about $33 million a year, $34 million a year, I'm sorry, and reportedly Dallas is at approximately 33. That doesn't seem far off, but when you listen to Jerry and the way that he talks, you certainly don't get that impression. When you listen to Jeff Darlington and Adam Schefter as well, you don't necessarily get that impression, regardless of what they're articulating. I'm not questioning the veracity or the accuracy of what they're talking about. I'm just saying, when you take into account Jerry Jones' words, it just doesn't seem like he's willing to bend. And if you're CeeDee Lamb, why should you be willing to bend? Because you know one play can end your season, if not your career. You can't take chances. You got to make sure you get all that you can. And these guys today, particularly wide receivers, we know they're pretty much all, most of them are divas. And so they're going to sit up there and fight for every living penny. And they deserve to fight for it, considering the sport that they're making. I also think you have to take into account why CeeDee Lamb won't move. Because history has shown that if the Dallas Cowboys struggle, then Jerry Jones will get to the table and get something done. But he's willing to risk the first game or two of a season to see what happens, just to hold out and be stubborn. I don't think it's wise. I don't think it's smart. But nevertheless, that is Jerry Jones's MO. CeeDee Lamb knows that, and that's why he's holding out, because he's not in danger of anything. You got $18 million, that's bargain basement. The average, when you see some of the contracts these receivers sign for, they're all getting paid over $30 million, whether it's A.J. Brown or anybody, or Justin Jefferson or anybody else. They all get paid over $32, $33 a year. So he wants his bag. He's holding out for it, and you can't blame him, considering the fact that no matter what the facts say, Jerry Jones seems to be committed to being Jerry Jones and holding out until the last possible minute. So CeeDee Lamb seems somebody resigned to doing that, and he's probably looking at it as that's just a couple of games and a couple of months in training camp where I don't have to expose my body to that kind of regimen. I'm good with it. I can't blame him.
No, I think deadline spur action. And at this point, the Cowboys have waited so long that week one now is the latest artificial deadline that they have. The question of whether, are they close? We assume so, because what else is the outcome? You're going to talk all camp. Like Jerry Jones is literally saying, oh, we've had promising talks. Y'all have been talking all summer. We knew this was coming. We knew that Justin Jefferson was going to get paid. You knew Jamar Chase wanted to get money. You knew Brandon Ayuk was out there. You knew all these things. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Smith, all these guys. The market is essentially set. But I can't imagine. Now, Mike T, correct me if I'm wrong. I can't imagine that people in the Cowboys building, or even in Oxnard, California right now, would say, you know what? Our master plan all along was to be 17, 18 days out from when we have to fly to Cleveland to face Myles Garrett and this Browns defense, and CeeDee Lamb is still MIA. There is no way that was their goal when this offseason started. And yet we knew CeeDee would want money. We knew that the Dak contract would be out there. We knew Michael would try to get paid earlier. All these things, we've been talking about it. And yet, Michael, Stephen, Molly, here we are. So the question of, are you convinced that they're close? What's changed? what's different about the conversation now when you know that you need him on the field, especially when you're going to go on the road to start the season and you already have your quarterback contract up in the air as well?
Yeah, I think the deal has to be close because when you look at the market, and Steve, you laid it out, it's really well defined. So to me, I've done enough deals over the year to know that, hey, we could give and take a little bit. Maybe you went on the 3-year average, we went on the 5-year average, whatever it may be. There is a deal to be made of the 3 situations of him, Brandon Ayuk and the 49ers, and Jamar Chase and the Bengals. This one, to me, is the easiest one to solve. I think the criticism really lines on the strategic planning. If we go back, if the 4 of us were having this discussion in February, Devontae Adams was really at the top of the market at like $28 million, and then all those other guys from Amon-Ra St. Brown all the way through to Justin Jefferson have moved this market up $7 million a year. So wherever CeeDee Lamb comes in, the Cowboys have cost themselves on an average per year $5, $6, $7, $8 million a year times 5 years. That's another $25 to $30 million that could go to Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott. So I don't know what Dallas gained by waiting, to Kmart's point.
You're talking about them being closer as opposed to further apart on the deal because you're looking at the numbers and what market has been set, and it's that simplistic. From that perspective, I understand where you're coming from. I think the thing that you're missing is that we're talking about Jerry Jones. And we're looking at time, meaning that there's no excuse for this not to be done before the start of the regular season, particularly when you see that Brandon Cooks and a bunch of dudes named Jalen, whose last names we can barely remember, are the other receivers on the Dallas Cowboys, okay? And so if you got a guy that's a stud like CeeDee Lamb, you know he's needed. You know you want Dak Prescott to have the weapons available to him. Your best running back is Ezekiel Elliott at this particular moment in time. You really, really need CeeDee Lamb. Everybody and their grandmama knows that. Yet Jerry Jones is holding out. So why? Why are you doing that? Because he's Jerry. That's why. Because he believes that there's an allure that comes with being a Cowboy that should be appreciated, that should allow you to lessen your market value, albeit a little bit as opposed to a lot, just because you're a member of the Cowboys. And that's why I reached out, in fairness, in the interest of full disclosure, that is why I've reached out to interview Jerry Jones. These are the kind of things that I want to talk to him about because I know that man is no dummy. He is a brilliant, brilliant marketing machine. The Dallas Cowboys are worth over $10 billion. We know what he has meant to the NFL, all the great things he has done to elevate the profile and the cachet of the Shield. We can't take any of that away from Jerry Jones, but why would you do this? You're doing this because there is a sense of arrogance and entitlement. I'm a Cowboy. This is the Cowboys, this brand and what it represents and what it personifies. How dare you not appreciate that and just come to us with whatever the market value is? He actually thinks that you should give him a little pass because you're wearing the star on your helmet. He's not thinking about the fact that this brother is an absolute stud who deserves every penny that he is asking for, and it has been earned. So Jerry wants to make him wait, and he can get away with it because you can get rid of everybody in Dallas but the owner.
All right.